Dan, here is your sewer scope from today's inspection. Yeah, we're in the bathroom. There's that floor clean out that I pointed out earlier. Black ABS pipe, plastic pipe to start off with. We're going to about 8 feet of this, which is normal. We'll get to the other side of the foundation wall. I thought we were going to switch into cast iron. I thought that's what it was. That might be a small section of cast iron. I'm not really sure. But we go right into clay. Normally we'll get like a good 20, 30 feet of cast iron before we switch over, and then right into water. There's enough of a lip there. I can't really tell, but it really looks like it's a settled section of that pipe. Definitely needs a little bit of further evaluation. We'll go out to about the 41-foot mark here. There'll be a wad of paper, toilet paper, at the end of this push. There it is, right there. That could play a part, but I don't think that that's the main culprit, to be honest with you. Having paper in a relatively flat section of pipe can cause some backup. Notice at the connection points, you'll have root growth in here. My guess is that they've had the pipe cleaned sometime prior to listing the property. Another connection point there, more root growth there, and again, roots and potentially even some dirt. This is the section that I got hung up on. The water's the bottom of the pipe. Obviously, if you look just to the bottom of your screen, you get an indication of how bad the offset is. It's likely, I would put it out an inch to an inch and a half. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to run some water so I can jump over that, try to kind of surf over it. Doesn't work. I ran the bathtub, the bathroom sink, and flushed the toilet, and just couldn't get over that spot. I mean, again, it's aggressive enough where there may be some separation at the bottom and the top of the pipe. This is something that I would really want to have looked at deeper. The water is going to start gushing here in a little bit. I'm just backing off just to get a better view of things. But yeah, definitely, I think we're at the part where pulling in a company that specializes in this would be kind of the way to go. Just to get a second opinion on this and see if there's any correction, or if they think it's just a normal turn in the pipe. It's generally, it's not common that you're in a drop and then it levels off. Normally in the pipe, it's a steady, sequence of progressively sharper downturns until you find the city connection. So we're roughly 67 feet out before I couldn't go any further. Knowing the position of the house and where the cleanout was, you could easily assume that there's another 30 to 40 feet of pipe before you hit the city connection. Could even be longer than that, but that would be my guess. So I'll spend another couple of minutes here trying to get over this, but not to any degree of success. The other thing is, before I turned the water on, I don't know if you noticed that the water was basically setting there at the bottom of the pipe. You can go back and revisit that easy enough just to kind of scroll back on the screen. Ultimately, what we always want is free-flowing water. We don't want it to just be sitting there stuck, for whatever reason, whether there's a failure in the pipe, some sort of blockage, whatever. We want the water to flow through. I don't know if I finished my point on the pipe being cleaned relatively recently. That's a guess. It's my assumption. A lot of times prior to listing a house, companies or sellers that know that their pipe is prone to a root intrusion, which most clay pipes are, and that's not necessarily a defect, it's just a function of what the pipe is. Um, they'll have the pipe cleaned out just to kind of dress it up a little bit. That offset right there at the bottom of the pipe, it's substantial. Um, and because it's at the bottom of the pipe, it's going to have the tendency to catch things as well. So again, not to keep beating this, but I would want another opinion uh, to say whether or not they thought it was okay, or if it warranted being corrected. I'm going to wait for the water to slow down a little bit. We get a little bit better visibility going on the backside as I'm pulling out on that original section that was below water. Sometimes when I'm pushing through a pipe and there is like a paper blockage or something like that, or heavier root growth, if I punch a hole through it, um, a lot of times it'll clear that out, at least temporarily, and allow the water to flow through. And then on the backwards trip, like we're doing right here, as I'm pulling back, um, it'll be relatively clear and it won't be holding water. Unfortunately, that's not the case here. As we pull back, you'll see it's still going to be holding some water here. Maybe not as much as when I was going forward, uh, but still enough to be of concern. So what we want to do is we want to look at both this initial section that's holding water and obviously that bigger offset, um, the bigger offset where I couldn't get past. So feel free to watch to the end if you'd like, and as always, reach out to me with any questions or if I can be of service.